Peace, people. Welcome to the latest episode of The Rough Draft. I am your host, Bienvendidos, and in this episode, I'll be talking about my time as a screenwriter. Thank you for tuning into this latest episode of Rough Draft. We are now in the month of August. So, in the month of August, you have the Bienvendidos Festival in New York City that will be taking place on August 10th. That is a festival that celebrates Afro Latino heritage and culture and the African roots of Latino people. So I believe specifically Puerto Ricans, and that will be in New York City, I believe in East Harlem. Also, you will have Carrot Mask Festival here in Raleigh. That will be held on August 16th. So it is I wouldn't say it's the largest Caribbean festival out here in North Carolina, but it is one that we hold here at least in Raleigh. Also, on August 17th, you have the birthday of the great ancestor, the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. He is obviously, you've heard of him, the Universal Negro Improvement Association. He's the founder of that. He is a founding father of Pan Africanism. And we celebrate his birthday on that day, which is the actual day of his birth. Also, you have on August 30th and 31st, the African American Festival, Raleigh and Wake County. So that will be held on the 30th and the 31st at the end of this month. So if you're able to make it out here in Raleigh, you could come through. Also, since this is 2025, I have a publishing anniversary. So boom, spitting lyrics and waxing poetic. 10 years. So this is now celebrating 10 years. I published this back in 2015. It is now 10 years old. For those of you who've been following my channel, one of the things that I've done in my writing career is work as a screenwriter. That was actually something started back when I was a kid in high school. I was about 16 years old. I was a junior in high school, and it was based off of action experience I had in one of my classes. I had written an advertisement, which actually was a TV commercial, and it was for a TV commercial for a sitcom. My teacher was impressed; she really liked it, and it actually motivated her to actually want to see the project. And I remember talking to her about it, and she was very impressed with what I had done. And so one of the questions that she asked me was if I was planning on going to college, and admittedly at that time I really didn't. So I said no. So she suggested if you do decide to go to college, I really think you should pursue film and television because I think you can really excel at that. And that was something that really excited me and inspired me because I'd had other teachers who knew that I had writing talent, but none of them really had any really good advice to give me as far as like how to use that talent where I can make a living at it. So this really excited me. I was very inspired. I really wanted to learn my craft, and so one of the things for me is that I got lucky. I had an older sister. I have an older sister. She was in college at the time, and one of her friends, I believe, was also briefly her roommate. Uh, One of her friends was actually a communications major, so she had books on screenwriting and things like that. Was able to talk to a friend. She got me those books, and so from 16 was when I actually started trying to get into my craft of being a screenwriter. So, starting from my junior year of high school, I just really just dove right in and tried to work at you say and do and learn my craft of being a screenwriter. And so, short form projects were easy because the very first project that I worked on was that one that I did the advertisement on for my class, which was a sitcom called Kit Carson. So Kit Carson was a sitcom about a young brother from Brooklyn, a day in his life, you know, same thing with him and his friends in their community and the things that they go through each and every day. So it was hilarious. I didn't really get to really work on it until I got to college. So I was still learning the craft of being a screenwriter, learning how to format everything and whatnot. But I didn't really get to fully work on Kit Carson until I finally got to college, specifically my freshman year at college. So I actually was able to produce an episode while I was in college. So I was able to write it out. A little bit of a controversy behind that. We were supposed to be doing a class project. Um, it was supposed to be for our final for the semester, well, for the entire year. I didn't want to do what our professor wanted us to do. I wanted to do something else. I was able to do a presentation of like three different projects that I thought the class should do. Kit Carson was one of them, and for the presentation, obviously Kit Carson won out. So we were able to do that, and I finally got a chance to actually shoot the episode. Um, the actual project is kind of bad. uh, it's well written, but it's terribly acted, and the editing isn't all that. It doesn't have an intro, doesn't have an outro, doesn't have credits, doesn't even have a music bed. And the cast was just terrible. Like seriously, I'm the only black person in the class. I wrote the script, so it has a whole bunch of Brooklyn slang in it, and so you have a bunch of white people trying to speak street slang, and maybe one or two foreign students also in there. So yeah, it wasn't that good as far as a video project, but it had a whole lot of potential, and it actually still did make you laugh. And as far as working on Kit Carson as a project, I have at least 5 seasons worth of scripts for that. But as I got more into screenwriting and wanted to find my cinematic voice, I did move away from that project because as I got older and matured, saying my taste changed, and I wanted to do stuff that was a little bit more dramatic. And there was only so much that I could do to change the character of Kit Carson. You know what I'm saying? But I did love the character. That particular project was great. Shout out to my peoples from Newberry College who always supported that project. Y'all the real ones. The school can suck my nuts. I also worked on certain other projects of my own that I wanted to do because one of the things that I want to do as a screenwriter, working in film and television, I want to work in the industry, not for it. So I wanted to see us represented in my projects. And so another project that I worked on while I was learning my craft as a screenwriter was it was a 1 hour police drama called Illegally Yours. So that was basically like my nod to 21 Jump Street and a little bit of New York Undercover mixed into it. That particular project, I've written at least, I'd say, 4 scripts, and I have an outline for the entire first season. Actually, first season and second season, I have an outline for how many episodes I wanted to write for those two seasons of that particular project. Another project that I worked on as far as screenwriting is concerned in short form format is a sci-fi show called Astro Core. That was basically a science fiction show that was basically my take on like Star Trek. So I have 2 episodes written out, and I have the entire first season, the synopsis of the first season written out. Another project that I worked on was the first thing when I tried to do was when I first initially tried to do conversion projects. So instead of converting stuff to novels, this was me trying to convert some of my comic book ideas and make them into TV shows. Both of them were action adventure. One was a superhero team called Power Personified. So it was a group of 7 main characters. They're all superpowered characters. They're kind of like my version of X-Men a little bit, except a little bit more militant. You're saying obviously the cast of characters was like mainly Black and Latino actors. Because to me, it was kind of like you had certain shows that were also kind of inspirational because you had like the old school shows, like the old school Spider Man and Wonder Woman from the 70s. You also had the original Flash from the 90s, Birds of Prey, Mutant X, and certain other shows like that. So it showed that superhero shows could be and possible. I had a second conversion project, that was called Colors of Justice. So that was like a crime fighting duel. Um, Kind of like my Batman and Robin a little bit. One character wore red. His name was Scarlet Hunter. His partner was a guy named Midnight Blue. Obviously, he wore blue. And so yeah. They were costume crime fighters who went around, you seen, solving different crimes. They pretended to be part of this security company, so they were going around solving obviously certain crimes and fighting certain criminals. Obviously, you're saying law enforcement. My short form scripts were easier to do because conventional wisdom says that 1 page of script equals 1 minute of screen time. So writing a half-hour show is about like I'd say 25 to 28 pages. Writing a 1 hour show, that's anywhere to like 55 to 58, 59 pages as well. You know what I'm saying? So it was always easier for me to work on those projects because I guess it's like it has like a shorter span. Working on my feature film scripts was a little bit harder for me. That wasn't as easy for me to write. It took several attempts for me to be able to actually write a feature film script because quite honestly my first couple of attempts were terrible. One my very first features film script that I tried to write was called Gangbangers. So it was basically obviously it was a hood movie. A hood movie based in New York, talking about like the streets of New York and whatnot. It was supposed to be based out of East New York, and you were saying one of them little street crews out there. That was a terrible project. It was way too many characters. The story was a little convoluted. It wasn't very realistic. And I kind of was copying some of the movies that came out at that particular time, like New Jack City, Jews, Boys in the Hood. You're saying shit that came out around that time. So I wasn't actually using my own cinematic, authentic voice. And I never completed that particular project. It was just like I've tried to restart to rewrite it a few other times and refine it and make it a little bit better, but it just got to a point where I just completely scrapped it. I never picked it
Another
up again.
feature film project that I tried to write after that to work on my film craft was it was a film originally called Racism 101. Refined the title and called it Life Lessons Racism 101. That one was a little bit easier to try and write because obviously the story's about dealing with racism in the community, especially in Brooklyn. Um, Much smaller cast than in Gangbangers, but still the story just did not flow, and I never got a chance to really complete it. One of the main characters is a young brother. He's actually pretty conscious and kind of militant. It is like every time I tried to write him, he seemed like a caricature of what a militant is supposed to be. I didn't like how that flowed. Some of the other characters were a little bit flatter. And so I tried to work on that particular script a number of times, and it just for whatever reason I just never was able to really work on that one and get it the way I wanted it to. So that one I ended up
Another
scrapping.
attempt after that one was a script called at the time it was called Birds of a Feather, and so that particular movie script was supposed to be talking about racism within the Latino community. It was actually supposed to be a love story between an Afro Latino man and I guess a white Latino woman. I originally did finish writing Birds of a Feather, so I wrote the initial first draft, and I was actually proud of myself that I had actually completed the script for that because like the other two attempts I never even finished those stories. So this time I was actually very happy that yes, I finished it, I wrote it. So I went to do the first rewrite and the story was absolutely terrible. It was terrible. I really did not like it. Some of the characters were flat, like the dialogue sucked ass. It's like what the fuck was I doing? And it really got to the point for me where it was just like I hate this shit. And I literally threw that script out. Because at the time I was handwriting a lot of my scripts. And so it was just like, you know what I'm saying, handwriting them out first. And then like when I feel that they're very good, I would type them up or whatnot. That one was just so terrible. I literally threw that in the garbage. Like I was just not happy
So
with it.
I've actually tried to restructure it and rewrite it. I actually changed the name, so it is no longer known as Birds of a Feather, as in Birds of a Feather Flock Together. It is now known as Black and Brown, a love story. So I've refined it a little bit. I've changed some of the characters, and I've changed the storyline a little bit. That is actually now a conversion project, so I'm trying to write that as a novel. Never really completed it like a second or a third time as a script. So I used in with the way that the storyline is, I've made a number of changes. It's now going to be a
As
novel
far as
project. Feature films are concerned, I was finally happy with working on my craft
and I finally finished writing a movie script. That was Suicide Amy. So to me, Suicide Amy is my first film script because it was the first one that I wrote and that I actually liked. And I was just so happy with it. And then it's just like from Suicide Amy on, I just continued writing those film scripts. So that was about 94, I believe. So it was after my second year of college, and I finally was able to learn my craft and work on my craft, and I was actually able to learn probably what my mistakes were when I was in class. After my sophomore year of college, and so I'm just like, oh, okay, maybe now I've actually finally figured it out. So Suicide Amy was the first one. I had another one that I completed at the same time. That's also copyrighted. It's called Achieve the Dream. So it's basically a coming of age story between with two main male characters. One is a DJ and producer. The other one's a young father, just trying to represent for his family and trying to be a good man, as opposed to like being a fatherless single young man. So other than that, like I worked on other scripts as well. I was able to write those, and that was basically the bulk of my screenwriting But the majority of my stuff that I've written, majority of my feature length films, they're now my novels that I have out. So thank you so much for watching this particular episode of the Rough Draft. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you would like a copy of any of my books, if you want them in paperback format, you know where you need to go to get them, which is Author House, Outskirts Press, Create Space, Amazon.com, Barnes and Nobles, and Books a Million. And I think that they're also available on bookshop.org. Um, my books are also available in ebook format. So if you want to be able to digitally download them, here's where you need to go to get them, which is Kindle, Nook, Kobo, Apple Books, Everand, Smashwords, Fable, and internationally through Viblio, Tolino, and Gardeners. Um, my books are also available in ebook format for libraries. So if you want to be able to go to the library and be able to read my books, hopefully your library has an account with one of these distributors, which is Overdrive, Hoopla, Baker and Taylor, Cloud Library, Palace Marketplace, Odillo, and BorrowBox internationally to the UK and Australia. If you're watching this video on YouTube, you know what you need to do. Please like the video. Definitely leave a comment. I would love to hear your feedback on it. Um, Definitely subscribe to the channel and press the notification button. That way you know every time I post a new video or if I say something in the community section. Oh, and definitely share it to your peoples. So thank you so much for watching this video. I truly appreciate it. You know how I like to end my videos. Keep the fist raised. I'm always on my literary grind, and I'll catch y'all people in the next episode. Peace.